Welcome to another episode of The Success Code. My name is Victor Escalante. I'm the producer, and for 4 decades, I have been in search of what is it that makes people highly successful. My earliest book that I read on the topic was In Search of Excellence, that taught me a lot about big corporations and what they did to succeed. And I found it fascinating because again, the what came through over and over again was the mindset, the mindset, the vision that big visionaries had, and how they led teams. And so today I bring you distilled wisdom and knowledge so that you can have greater success in your personal as well as professional life. Joining me today in the studio is a regular guest that you already know, Luisa Deason. Luisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Victor, and it's a pleasure to be with you again today.
You have an interesting topic for us. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what that is?
I want to discuss, with immigration, there's so much confusion and there's so much rhetoric out there that is just not the truth. And with my background, having worked not only for the Immigration Service, but also for the Department of Homeland Security for decades, I have a consulting firm. And one of the things that I keep hearing about is the atrocities or the misrepresentation of the work visa. So let's talk a little bit about the H1-B visa, which is foreign workers that come in with a specialized field that are able to work legally in this country, but there are requirements to that visa.
So these are typically the visa that doctors, engineers, a lot of software developments, IT has relied extensively on the H1B visa. And that type of career that is not easily filled in America. So what can you tell us about that, Luisa?
Well, let me just describe the direction we're going in today, and of course, the direction we had probably post 9/11. So, the H-1B visa program requires a highly specialized field. It's not usually for people that are working in kitchens or that are not at a higher level of education, because the purpose of that visa is to bring in a skilled worker that can create the positions in the environment to hire more people and to be able to bring economic wealth to this country. The H-1B visa requires people, as you said, normally that will have some sort of a specialized skill, whether it's in technology, doctors, nurses, rocket scientists, things of that nature. And those positions are usually advertised for about a year. If they're not fulfilled, then they can open that to the American market for a year and then bring in foreign nationals. The cost incurred was never $100,000, but there's been so many abuses to that kind of a visa. So what's happened under the Trump administration is that we're now seeing those visa types requiring a specific parameter of when you enter or when the first date of requirement is for $100,000 cost to that visa.
How is that disrupting the marketplace?
Well, it's going to disrupt the marketplace, and then it's going to really solidify who is worthy of that visa and who is not, and it's going to practically eliminate the fraud that exists, closing the loopholes. What happens with that visa type, Victor, is that normally you see that there is a cost to that because it is a benefits side of the house visa, and it generates income for the agency that controls that, which is United States Immigration and Citizenship Services. USCIS.
USCIS, yes.
The problem is that those visas require either a 2-year stint in which you can request an extension, but it must be an extension into the same field that you're working in. Where that visa has been abused in the past is people jump from one position to another, or they leave the industry entirely, and then they overstay by never leaving the country.
Okay. And so under the new terms for the H-1B visa, other than the cost, that is it firm now? Has that been executive order signed into?
I'm not sure if the executive order has been signed yet, but I know that there has been the date, I think, starts with whatever prior visas were in the works. I think there's a deadline that begins the requirements starting September of 2025. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't play a lawyer on TV. I would suggest highly that people that are interested in gathering information about that type of a visa can call us at our consulting firm at Deason Consulting Services. My number is 832-244-2488. Or check with one of us that we can refer you to an immigration attorney that's licensed and certified to do the right work.
Because you have a network of attorneys with which you work with in order to be able to funnel any
Yes.
need when it comes to immigration, really any type of immigration case. Is that correct?
Any kind of immigration cases, but what we want to specialize in is those that are seeking a legal path somewhere. And those types of visas there's over 200 different statutes
Okay.
in the Title 8 and, of course, other, IRCA and other stuff. So one of the things that we suggest is just call us. We'll be able to guide you in the right direction.
Luisa, what is driving you now? I know about your previous past as spokesperson for Department of Homeland Security. What is driving you now?
It's a real passion that I've had to make a difference and for people to get the right information. It's amazing to me how somebody who says, well, I've spoken to my cousin's sister's husband's neighbor, and they say, do this, and it ruins the opportunity for them to adjust something or gain a benefit in this country. And it can ruin something immediately. It
Yes.
can render somebody deportable.
So this is why you need to be in the hands of a specialist, because we've discussed previously on the show, if you don't file the right paperwork, if you go to a notary public, which you should never do that, if you go to an attorney that's not a specialist in immigration law or federally certified in immigration law, then you're subject to have your case ruined permanently.
Yes.
So that you don't qualify for relief in having legal status. Luisa, thank you so much for having us, joining us today. We enjoyed having you because you always bring very interesting topics. Until next time, have a great week.